Hi everyone, it's Sherry Carroll here from Hero Arts, here to show you a sneak peek of our 2013 catalog. Jennifer McGuire and I will be doing a little tag team for this video. We'll both be using this new numbers background, and I chose some of our really new hexagon shapes to go with it. So to start off, I'll be doing a resist, so I'm using some Versamark ink, and I'll go ahead and ink up my stamp really well, and since it's a large stamp, I like to go rubber side up, and I'm just pressing the ink pad right on. I've cut a panel of white cardstock, and I'm just laying this on top of the stamp and lining it up so I get it really straight. And once I have that lined up, I like to put a sheet of paper over the top, and now I can press around the entire stamp and get a really great impression. Once I have my image stamped, now it's time to add some white embossing powder, and I keep this in a little container, and I'll just spoon this on, and once I'm done I can just tap off the excess. To heat set the embossing powder, I'm using my good old standard Milwaukee heat tool, and I'm just moving my heat tool around until the embossing powder melts. The inks I've chosen for this project today are Tide Pool, Orange Soda, Butter Bar, and Soft Granite. And I want to show you a really quick sneak peek of the catalog. As you know, I'm the ink person, so what I've done is I've created some little cubes with combinations of colors for us to use. So really fun new stuff coming along in the 2013 catalog. For this card, I'm using a new hexagon clear set, and has great patterns and solids, just all in hexagon shapes. To save a little bit of time, I've already stamped my orange hexagon pattern, and right now I'm using my Butter Bar ink to stamp a solid hexagon, and I'm just stamping these in random order. I've also decided not to overlap my colors. I want just some pure color on this card. And now I'm stamping a little striped image with our Tide Pool ink, and the Tide Pool color ink goes with all of our pool note cards and layering papers. So again, I'm just randomly stamping onto my card. The last color I'm stamping with is the Soft Granite, and I love the gray with this color combination, and this is a little flower that also comes in the hexagon set. I'm also using the Happy Birthday hexagon. I've cut these out and mounted them onto my card to give them a little bit more dimension. And I'm placing this onto a top folding pool card I made from layering paper. And here's another look at my finished card, and next up is Jennifer McGuire.
Hello, it's Jennifer, and here's my take on the numbers background stamp from Hero Arts. And I also did resist like Sherry did, but I used masking. So first I'm going to go ahead and start by embossing the numbers pattern background stamp onto some white cardstock. I use Versamark ink. It's just a good high quality sticky white ink that's perfect for embossing. So I'm laying the cardstock onto the inked stamp, and I'm going to press around to make sure that all of the ink transfers onto the paper. Next I'm using some Hero Arts white embossing powder and shaking that on, and then I'll heat this with the heat gun until the entire image is embossed with white on white. You'll barely see it, but it'll look really cool when we do the inking over it. Now I wanted to show you how I got the placement of all of those circles of inked color. I went ahead and I punched a bunch of different size circles from typing paper. Something very thin scrap paper would work perfect, and I'm putting just a touch of adhesive on the back of each of the circles and gluing them temporarily onto the embossed piece that I just did. This is so that I can plan where I want all of my ink circles to end up. I think if I have a plan, it comes out better. So I'm just going to temporarily adhere these down. Now I'm going to take the negative space of those circles, put a little adhesive around the edge, and then I'm going to line this up with the circle that's adhered to the stamped embossed piece. So you'll see I'm lining up, and then I'll take the original circle away, and now I have that circle area masked off so I can do some inking. I'll first show you this big pool colored circle. So I have the mask in place, and I'm taking the Hero Arts Shadow ink in the Tide Pool color, and I'm using a sponge dauber to apply the ink over the mask. Now watch as I take the ink and I pull it from the mask onto the paper. That way I don't mess up the position of the mask. So I'm just going to fill in that entire circle generously with the shadow ink. Once I've got the whole area covered, I'll remove the mask, and there we have a masked area. Then you can use a baby wipe or a cloth to clean off any of the extra ink that's on the embossed areas. So moving on to the next circle, I'm going to line up the negative space with the original circle, take the original circle away, and I have my mask in the perfect position. This time I'm using a green ink from Hero Arts, another shadow ink, and I'll use another sponge dauber to apply the green ink over it. Then I'm going to go ahead and do this with the remaining circles. This one I'm going to do in a soft granite shadow ink. And then I'll do the remainder and some of the colors repeated and also in soft pool ink. You could use other inks for this, but I think the shadow inks smooth out and even over time and give a really nice solid look. So now that I have my circles done, I wanted to use this greeting. I love hoping all of your days are happy, but it was too long for this vertical card. So I'm actually just going to cut up the clear stamp and I can reposition it however I want. This border stamp is a great new set from Hero Arts and I love all the messages on it, and it's fun because you can cut them up and change up the position. So now I'm just lining them up on my table and to make sure I get the position that I like. So I'll just position them here and then I'll take my acrylic block and just stamp it right on to the stamp, and there we have it all transferred onto the block exactly how we want to do it. And I'm just going to test it out here to make sure I like how it looks. Yep, I'm happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and white heat emboss this on white cardstock like I did before. I decided I wanted to do resist for the greeting just like I did the background, so it had the same soft look that you get from the resist technique. So I'm using bubblegum shadow ink from Hero Arts and a sponge dauber to apply the pink ink over the embossed greeting. Now I could have just done this on pink cardstock, but again I wanted that soft look that matched the background. So I cut that and trimmed it down into a fun little piece and adhered it to the card. And I'm adding some little mixed accents from Hero Arts in the pool and punch colors, just scattering them over the card. It kind of carries on that circle pattern. Finally, I'm going to finish it off with just a double bow of baker's twine, and I just use a tiny dot of glossy accents to hold the bow in place. Just a little bit will hold it in place, and there you have a fun card using the numbers pattern background. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this peek into the new Hero Arts stamps.